Hey everyone, Larissa J here, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. We're going to get right into the video, and as you can tell by the title, we are talking about postpartum. Now hear me out. This video is for anyone who is interested in having a child at some point in their life. Whether you're pregnant now or intend to be pregnant or will be pregnant at some point in your future because you desire to have kids, I feel like this video is going to be very helpful for you. Me personally, I did not have a lot of knowledge and information on postpartum until I started asking questions and doing my research when I got pregnant. I feel like this is information that people should know, and so I wanted to make sure that I share this with you. Today I'm just going to be sharing the first 2 weeks of postpartum. I am currently 3 weeks postpartum at this moment, but I felt like the first 2 weeks were the first two that I really wanted to focus on. One, I just exited those first 2 weeks, but two, I feel like they are the ones that are the most crucial and being prepared for. Obviously, I'm not providing any medical advice. I'm just sharing with you my personal experiences and some products that really helped me during those first 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing, you have your baby, and all of that is just a wonderful and amazing experience. And then you hear a lot about the bleeding. So I want to talk first and foremost about the bleeding. That was something that I looked up a lot. I just wanted to know what I needed, how I could prepare for it. Like after you have a baby and you go through the whole process, then you do have obviously immediate bleeding. And so you need the mesh underwear as well as the huge pads. So I want to show those to you because I had no idea. I heard that the pads were huge, but when I actually saw it, I'm like, who's going to be wearing that? Like it's huge. So these are the underwear. Now I did not use these, which is why I still have them. Okay. So these are the little underwear that I got. I have 2 pairs, and again, I didn't use these because I used something else, which I'm going to show you in a moment. But they'll give you mesh underwear, and they'll also give you a few of these. I used all of my other ones, but I did have one left, and this is what it looks like. It is really huge. It's bigger than my face. It's super big, but it was really awesome at catching everything, especially like right after birth, the day after. I actually used these for, I want to say 2 or 3 days. But after that, once I graduated from the huge mattress pad, then I started using Depends. These are the ones that I purchased, and I'm going to link everything in the description box for you guys. I personally recommend these. They were awesome. I still have extras. It came with 14, and I had the size medium. Came with 14 of them. I like them because they have different colors. This is what they look like. And so afterwards, actually what I did was, at one point I did put the mattress pad, this big thing, in here. You can totally just use this as it is because it does have a very, very generous pad right in there. So you can absolutely use this on its own, but me, I just like feeling extra hygienic. I don't know. And so for a couple of days, I did put these together, and these are what I used instead of the mesh underwear. I did not use these. I used this, and I put this in there. And then once I felt like my flow was starting to lighten up and it wasn't like super heavy, that's when I stopped using these, and I just used this. These were awesome. They were super comfortable. I didn't have to worry about leakage. It was beautiful. It was just great. And all I had to do was just change this whole thing. I would totally recommend these, guys. Totally recommend these. Like if you're going to be dealing with postpartum, or even if you just have a heavy period, like overnight, and you wear pads at night, honey, gives you some of these Depends right here. Depends silhouette. Also the purple, blue. So just a little bit of some sort of feeling cute, I guess. But yes, those were amazing. So that's what I used for the initial days of bleeding, like right after birth. Then the flow lightens, and this is what I wanted to know when I was doing my research. So I feel like for me personally, I had really heavy bleeding for the first 2 or 3 days, and then it started to taper off and seem more like just a regular period. Next few days after I graduated from the mattress pad and the Depends, I kept the Depends, but then I would use like Disposable. Sometimes I would have like, I think it's like Rael. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyways, like this organic brand called Reusable. It's like super long, so I would put that on here. It's a disposable pad, and I would just put it on here. That way I could just take it off and change it out and that whole thing. So I did do that as well. Of course, you can just totally use these, but I didn't know how long I was going to need them, and I didn't want to buy a whole new box. So yeah, anyway, that's me. So then I started using my disposable pads and my cloth reusable pads, and you guys already know how I feel about cloth reusable pads. This is my current stash. Awesome things, but I did use these, and these were like a nice change because I was in disposables for so long, and as you know, you can kind of feel like you're getting a rash if you're having to wear disposables for as long as we have to wear them. So it was a really nice switch up and a really nice change to be able to switch over to cloth, just to give my Netherlands you know, some versatility and some breathing room. And so what I used was the Hi-O. These cloth pads, I've talked about them in a previous video. I talk about them pretty often, but these are the ones that I actually use for postpartum within the first 2 weeks. And they were awesome. Just like I said, a nice change and a nice switch up from having to wear disposables and feeling like, you know, it's just, we need to breathe. And this was just very comfortable and soft, obviously, compared to the feeling of a disposable after you've been wearing it for a few days. So I started to switch it up between these and my disposables, but these were definitely a go-to. I used them multiple times throughout the postpartum period, and of course they were easy to wash and all of that. So I would suggest maybe considering some reusable pads. Hi-O is a great brand. Like I said, these are the ones that I just used for my first 2 weeks, and they were awesome. The third thing that I want to talk about are the Tux pads. So I did use these. I do have some of these left as well. Got a little bit left. But these are medicated witch hazel pads, and these just for me provided some little bit of a cooling sensation because they're wet, you know, so they had a little bit of a cooling sensation, and they're medicated with witch hazel. And so if I did feel sore, because some days I definitely felt sore, especially right after you do feel sore, so you're bleeding and you're sore and you're tender, and if you have stitches, it's not fun. But these definitely helped. For me personally, I did not use like any other sprays or numbing agents or anything like that. I just used these and kind of just pushed on through because it really wasn't that bad for me to have to use like medication or anything. So the Tux pads were good. Another thing I've heard of people using were padsicles. Mine are downstairs, sorry. I think I used it once. I used one padsicle, and basically that's just a pad with witch hazel and other things like aloe vera, whatever you choose to put on them, and you put them in the freezer and you wear them. I wasn't like the hugest fan of them, but like when I did it that one time, but I've heard really great things about it. So that might be something you want to try. You could use for just helping yourself feel better down there when you're sore and whatnot. Another thing that they always tell you to use is a Peri bottle. Now I left my Peri bottle in the bathroom, but there's a Peri bottle. That's the one that you typically get from the hospital. It's a clear bottle, just like a little squirt bottle. I actually ended up purchasing this. I used all three, right? So I used Bidet bottle, which is amazing. This bottle, it squirts water. You hold it upside down. Wanted to make sure it doesn't leak. You hold it upside down and you spray. Yeah, I just sprayed like the room, but you spray. It has little holes, which on both sides, which is really nice. It's like a shower, like a literal shower, which is really, really nice. And so you spray this while you're peeing and kind of get the flow away from your bits down there so you don't feel the burning. So this was awesome. You also use this to clean yourself off with because you can't use toilet paper. In addition to that, I did use the Peri bottle. I just wanted to feel extra clean and remove as much debris down there as I could. And so yeah, I used the Peri bottle, and I used the Bidet bottle, and I used my bidet, which I've talked about in a previous video. If you've not seen that, I'll go ahead and link a card so that you can check that out. But I use all of those just to help make myself feel a little more clean down there. So that's something that's really, really awesome. Another thing that I would recommend is the bath. So I did an herbal bath. That was something that my midwife gave to me, and it was really nice and relaxing. Just put that warm water. I did kind of hot water with the little herbal bath in there, and it was beautiful. It was just really relaxing and nice just to sit and soak, and it was awesome. I would recommend that. Or I've also heard people using a sitz bath, Epsom salt bath, those types of things as well. I just did the herbal bath and it was lovely. And then of course, lastly, there's the postpartum pee and postpartum poop that you hear a lot about when you're looking into postpartum things. And for me, I didn't have any issues with those things, fortunately. I did have some stitches, and so I was concerned about that, but I was actually fine. Now, of course, with me and all of this, I'm a believer, so I do pray about everything, and that definitely helps make things a lot better. And so I didn't have any issues. That was definitely something that I prayed about because I didn't want to struggle with that, because I knew that a lot of people do. Postpartum pee was totally fine. Like I said, I used this and that helped. I didn't have any issues there. Postpartum poop was also really good. But one thing that I would suggest is just making sure your diet is really good. You will hear a lot of people also recommend maybe getting a stool softener. They also have a natural stool softener. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they do have different recommendations for stool softeners that you can start taking after you give birth, so that you can actually go without any issues or pain. I did not do that. I just really focused on my diet. I drank a lot of water and I ate really well. Like just for breakfast, I would have like fruits and sprouted grain toast and just like healthier foods. And I think that really helped. So everything was just smooth moving, and I didn't have any issues with, yeah, I didn't have any issues going to the bathroom either way. It was all good, and I was really, really happy about that. I do have more. We're going to talk about breastfeeding and engorgement and those types of things, but I don't want this video to be super long. So stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to be talking about postpartum with breastfeeding and boobs and the first 2 weeks of postpartum. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to stay tuned for the next one. I will see you in the next video. Bye.